Thank you for checking in once again to the Eternal Optimist Theater. I just come back from my walk and hyperextended the fingers on my pick hand, which is better than hyperextending the fingers on your fret hand. But yeah, I had a momentary brain fart when I was walking where I have to concentrate on what I do and I can get in a deep place of thought while I'm walking, but I have to be focused on what my legs are doing. And for a second there, I went around this building that I've walked around a couple of times now, and I'm like, how many goddamn stairways are there leading into this building? Is this the stairway that I sat on yesterday and then looked across at the Arrow Passage Drug and Rehab Center? And then, like, I turned my head and looked. The next thing I know, I started to fall. I threw the cane down. I got in either what you want to call the downward dog yoga position very quickly and bent my fingers back in the gravel. So I was walking on gravel. And I had nothing on my hands but latex gloves. It's 41 degrees out. And I got in like I said, the downward dog yoga position. If you don't know what that is, I was just like, had my legs got too far apart, and then I spread like all the way down in a standing position rather than fall. I've never done this before, and just put my hands flat on the ground because my hammies are extremely flexible for whatever reason, while my hamstrings are tight as rocks. So, you know, nothing about living in this body makes any sense. So I do not question things like that. This is very convenient for picking things up off the ground. So I'm just stuck in this, downward position. And I had a thought later. It's like, yeah, this feels like the position I've been in for the last for the last few years, because the universe has been really giving it to me hard. But I'm just stuck and I don't know what to do. It's like, okay, how do I get out of this? I got nothing to hold on to. My cane I threw over there. I'm just stuck here. I can either fall over and then try to stand back up, but I'm already up. I'm like just stuck there in the downward dog yoga position. And I think that's what it's called anyway. I could even be wrong about that. But I'm like, okay, well, this is one of those times where you have to take a chance, and you have to just see what happens. So I stood up. I made a plan. This is going to sound stupid to people that can walk, but I made a plan, and I was like, okay, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to lean my weight over in the direction of those railings over there, and I'm going to stagger over there like a drunk and catch a hold of those railings. So the steps that I was just previously wondering, are these the steps that I sat on yesterday? How many steps go in this fucking building? So I go staggering over and I do exactly what I planned to do and grab a hold of that. And then I sit down and I'm like, well, I'll take a couple of breaths here because, you know, that kind of hurt. Hyperextended my fingers. Like, well, I'm not going to obviously bend my sore fingers back just to show you. But, they were like this when I hit, because I hit flat on one hand and not on the other. And, yeah, they're all right. I can move them and stuff. They just hurt. I'm not going to like say they went like this. It's like a guy punched me in the face yesterday like this. That's why I got this sore spot here. Yeah. But anyways, so I'm sitting there and I'm chilling for a minute, and I'm like, well, I'll just get my bearings. But my cane is still like all the way over there because I just threw it away from me, because that's always my instinct from years of falling. Is like, um, whatever you have in your hands, get it the hell away from you, because you're gonna fall on it. And lots of times it's not a good thing to fall on. Like, I don't know, maybe once way back when I fell on a coffee cup or something, and I was like, you know, so I just dropped it instead of throwing it away from me. So cane's like way across in this gravel. I'm like, I gotta make it over to that cane. I've already walked a good distance. My legs are kind of shot. I knew I might have trouble too because I was wobbling in the house. But anyways, I'm screwing up the story, which isn't much of one. Anyways, but I walk, I stumble over to the cane, reach the cane, and as soon as I grab that sucker, man, I planted it in the ground, and I'm like, and okay, and walk the rest of the way back. And I was having trouble walking inside the house, but I was like, it's good for me to get outside, and I want to get in the habit of doing this anyway. Especially if I keep waking up at 1 o'clock, 4 hours sleep, Not, ooh, that hurts to make that gesture. Not that good. Not good. Um, need sleep. My breathing wasn't that solid either, you know. But yeah, passivity is the most stressful thing you can do to yourself. Is just to do nothing. It's like my dad used to have that expression: "Do something, even if it's wrong," because he would get like antsy from passivity, and it's like if you talk to any psychiatrist or psychologist, they will tell you that not doing anything is really, you have to exercise your power, even if your power is falling down the dogwood uh, down position and being stuck in gravel and having no clue how to get out of it, and then having to actually make a plan. I'm like, oh, I'll go stagger in the direction of these railings and hope I don't fall down, and grab a hold of the railing, and then I can swing myself around and sit down and get my head straight. I did take a blood pressure pill uh, before I left, which might have contributed because that'll make you dizzy sometimes, lowered blood pressure. But um, yeah, it's like when you have a benzo thing, and you have an AFib thing, and you have the CRPS. That's a recipe for stress right there. But then now they got this corona thing floating around, and Ohio has been officially declared a disaster area by Trump. Uh, the death toll in one day jumped from 44 to 55. So Ohio is officially a disaster area. Yet there was more traffic out there today than ever. I talked to my niece on the phone yesterday, and she said everybody's just going about their business pretty much. And she was talking about the dumbass rules we have here, like the drive-throughs are allowed to be open at a McDonald's or like an Arby's, you know, and it's like there's people handling food and masks on or no masks on and handing you food, but they're allowed to be open. And I'm like, we were having this stupid conversation. She's very funny, by the way, very clever. But I was like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense, does it? And she was like, well, how are you going to tell if something's non-essential or not? Anyway, I'm pretty sure that a hamburger is probably not essential to your existence because they tell you no non-essential trips at all. You're supposed to be under quarantine. And I'm like, yeah, and how are they going to prosecute that? Is the cop going to take a stethoscope when you tell them that you just needed to go through through Arby's because you were hungry and put it up to your belly and be like, your belly's not growling, sir. You're under arrest. You know, it doesn't make the whole enforcement of it doesn't make any. It's not a feasible thing to enforce because you can just lie. What are they going to do? Background check to your stomach? If you're like, I need to go out and get some food, officer. Are they going to follow you back to your house and look and say you have plenty of food? I assume they would level you fines. They're not going to like throw you in prison since they're actually releasing prisoners in Ohio. By the way, they're keeping the sex offenders and the sex criminals in the jails, and people that whose terms are almost up or are misdemeanors. They're just kicking them out of the jails, because they're worried about the killing people in the prison. This is just some of the stuff I read this morning. Now that could be a proposed plan. I'll have to fact check that, but I'm pretty sure that's what they're either doing that or they're planning to do that, or it might be a proposed plan about like thinning out the prison population, but keeping the murderers and the sex criminals in check. Keeping them in prison because fuck them. And like if you're sentenced, if you're due to be released in 6 months, they're gonna release you. So, you get the general idea of what I'm saying. So this morning I fixed my light blocker thing by taking a pair of tin snips and cutting a plastic coat hanger in half and putting the penis bone in my flaccid window thing, because you know that human beings, we're the only ones that don't cheat in the animal category. Every other creature has a penis bone. So human beings deserve extra credit for maintaining an erection because we don't have a penis bone. So, anyways, I fixed that with making a penis bone out of plastic coat hanger. And so now I don't know how much light that'll block, but if I keep waking up at 1 o'clock, it'll be kind of, we may never know, but hopefully I start sleeping better. Yeah, I don't like the way I'm breathing. Like my chest feels kind of, that also could be a heart thing, but I got some congestion and stuff. And I did get my food yesterday, and I did have contact with the aid worker, which I was like, I want to ask you something personal. And then she got up close to me, like we weren't the only two people in the room. But I should have just told her to get the fuck out and go about my shopping. But I'm curious about people, and I'm like, how, so she thinks I'm gonna. There's nobody here but us. I'm not gonna whisper it in your ear. Why are you getting up this close to me? But anyways, I just wanted to ask her, how if she's gonna, how this is affecting her paychecks, because she's a health aid worker and everybody's canceling on her, me included. And she said, well, it's not gonna be easy. She said, I've had a lot of cancellations. Sometimes I get fill-ins for other people, and I happen to know her husband's. He's not gonna help. My voice is also not good, so. But you can't worry about these things. I mean, you're going to, but anxiety, stress, and all that, you have to kind of take a fatalistic attitude and be like, be careful, but, it kind of, a thought that occurred to me is like everybody made fun of that movie, The Happening, because they had to represent a villain for the movie The Happening, M. Night Shyamalan with Marky Mark, if you've never seen it. And the only way they could represent this evil force was the wind. So every time like danger would approach, there would be the wind, and everybody was making fun of the fact that, oh, you're afraid of the wind, you're afraid of the air. And now we have like an airborne virus that's turned my state into a disaster area officially. And so yeah, we have. I mean, you can't. That's why I was talking to the aid worker. I'm like, you can't really run from it. I mean, you can stand all the way across the room. This is before she closed the distance for no reason. But I was like, you have to. I'm sending you out to get food. I don't know who breathed on that food, who touched that food, if they observed proper protocol. If the protocol failed, I don't know what's on this food. What am I supposed to do? Like towel down every item with alcohol. Every time, eggs are porous. And every time like the omelet I ate before my walk, am I supposed to like rub it down with rubbing alcohol? I mean, hey, I don't know. Um, so, yeah, I got 2 letters here from my doctor I haven't opened. And another letter from yesterday, but I got to deal with that. I think I have an appointment coming up on the 3rd, but I'm definitely not going, of course. And I have like my mental health thing with the guy that prescribes me Valium on the 7th. Yeah, that not going. I don't know. I guess I'm just stuck in this miserable fucking routine. Those fingers ain't that bad, man. They're coming around. I felt they're just gonna be sore, They're not. Anyways, I'm gonna be stuck in this miserable routine for. I don't know. I just kind of need to talk to that guy and just, you know, should I pay 2 months rent here? Should I plan on being stuck here? Um, I guess I should. I mean, they're talking about the pandemic uh, peaking between 19th and the 22nd of April. So, but I don't know if I want to pay 2 months rent. I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's not a big deal. I got the money. Uh, which is probably a ridiculous statement for most people that aren't on disability to be like, oh, I got the money. I don't what I got. I mean, I got maybe I get paid like on the third, so maybe I got. I'm guessing $3,600. You know, but it's still enough for me to move on and to pay rent here. I can drop 825 here for 2 months rent. It'd be 850 for 2 months rent, and then have enough to still have enough to move. So I just want to talk to the guy. I don't know why the guy is ghosting me, you know, or what the deal is, or maybe I'm not being persistent enough because I lack in social skills. Don't know. I got no clue. So, but anyways, yeah, as far as like the fear aspect of it, it's like it's not going to be do me any good. You know, I've been having more anxiety, of course, and all the anxiety is reasonable and reality based because I don't even think they'd have room for me in the hospitals around here now. I mean, my aid worker said they were setting up uh, like MASH unit tents around hospitals and stuff. So things are bad here. Um, but yeah, did I say something about getting away from talking about this pandemic thing? I mean, yeah, I just want to feel like I'm in a lot of pain lately. I just want to feel healthy enough where I can get absorbed in one of my hobbies. You know, like maybe read y'all a short story, or once my fingers stop hurting, well, I can still use my thumb. I just bent these fingers. I play like this, so you know, play some. It's not here. I don't know where it's at, but play some guitar to get ready for when my workstation gets here, where I can make all kind of nasty, evil sounds with a guitar. I don't know what to do as far as headphones, though. I have to have headphones. I think I have earbuds where only like one side of the ear works. I've done that before. I used to have it like earbud extension cord and run it from the pedal or workstation to my ear, and it would always get in the way and stuff. You need something wireless, ideally. But obviously, I can't be blowing money, and yeah, my voice don't feel or sound too good. But yeah, I hope you're doing okay. You know, and I'm gonna keep trying. Yesterday, that video with me, I started out that video really good by pouring alcohol in my eye. Then throwing a phone and then going on a rant about the way that you gotta like break down before they help you in the medical community, because you're not that you're composed and you're holding it together. You don't need help just because you're asking for it. These other people, why, they're a fucking mess. They're, you know, they prioritize, I guess, people that way. But maybe that other guy is less of a mess than I am. He just likes, you know, there are people that like attention, and I'm like the opposite of that. Not a big attention guy. I don't promote these videos. I do not put them on Facebook. I do not care. As long as a couple people watch them, I don't care. I honestly don't. Uh, you know, I know that I actually told people, man, now's the time to bail on here on me, because shit is getting worse. And I had one guy that's a pretty hard guy that was like a loyal follower. He's like, you know, you about had me crying in that video. It's like your life's really been shitty. And, you know, it's like I told people, like, can't handle it, it's cool, split. Like, you need to do that on the internet. But yeah, so I don't care. I just do it for my own mental health, and if it helps anybody else or anybody else gets anything out of it, that's good. Yeah, with that video, I went from putting alcohol in my eye, throwing the phone, complaining about the mental health community, how they want you to break down instead of like helping you prevent yourself from breaking down. They're talking about fist fights and how sometimes when you block, you get hit in your block and and you punch yourself in your own face, which is not bad if you have boxing gloves on. But if you don't have boxing gloves on and you have protruding knuckles, it's not. It's like getting punched by a weaker person because you don't when you block. I mean, you're tensed up, but you don't. You're not parrying the guy's arm out of the way. You're that's just the way I was taught. I'm covering up and I'm blocking and I'm tensed up and I'm just looking for an opening over my fist to where I can score, where I can get something in. But anyways, yeah, that was wow. Yeah, I'm not real proud of that one, but it was real, and so it was what it was. And I think, yeah, my voice is feeling very uncomfortable right now to me as far as talking, so I don't think I'm going to talk much longer. Uh, they're predicting a peak of 39 deaths a day here at some point, you know. But it's all based on like projection, based off of people's behaviors. Like me and my niece were talking about when I made the stethoscope joke. It's like they're not accounting. We both grew up around a lot of the same people, and she grew up around even crazier people. She's like, they're not accounting for the people that are they're just off the chain nuts. You know, they're not. They're they're basing their projections on how people, what past data they have, and if people behave themselves. So, from what I'm seeing as far as traffic out there, you can't tell me all that traffic that I'm seeing is essential. I mean, yeah. So, uh, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of people out there that want to be in denial about a situation and ignore it or pretend that there's another reality going on than what is going on. And there's a lot of people that just don't give a fuck and are irresponsible and care only about themselves. And there's a lot of people with a death wish that would be happy to share that death wish with other people. So, I realize that's not cheerful type stuff for me to be talking about, but that's just realism. That's just the reality of human nature. And uh, there's plenty of good people in the world and reasonable people and sensible people that would actually care about infecting someone like me who will flatline from it, or an old person. And like, well, I got to act responsibly because, this seems to be killing. I haven't looked at studied into it in depth as far as like, the healthy person survival rate, you know, in Ohio here. But yeah, the death toll went up from 44 to 55 in one day. We had 11 people die in one day. And they're predicting a peak of 39 deaths a day here. So, as far as getting my house in order and getting prepared for that eventuality, uh, hey, I'll just call my brother and make an agreement. It's like you'll be the executor of my stuff. Yeah, you're responsible for my browser history. You can just keep my computers, and yeah, and whatever I have, you can do with as you will. I have, by the way, I haven't. I've just been waiting for him to call me. I don't know how him, and his dog's been doing. I haven't called him for like 5 days, and I don't know how he's doing. I talked to my niece yesterday. I didn't bring up the dog, so I think she probably would have told me. But then again, my brother might not have told her if the dog died, you know. Um, It's another depressing thing. So I wonder, man, nobody watches these. Another depressing damn thing. It's like you can't even take that dog to the vet if you had some money to take him to the vet, even if, the family would help him out to take the dog to the vet. So he's like, the dog's so sick he's got to help it stand up and stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, and he's not the kind of guy that's like going to give you updates on the situation. You know, little self-centered in that way. You know, like a lot of people that suffer from depression and anxiety and stuff like that. They get wrapped up in their own miseries and they don't have time to think about other people. Like that, there might be other people out there worrying about them. And it's like, so you always got to be the guy sticking your neck out there and calling them and checking up on them. And yeah, where my head's at right now is dealing with his grieving process, knowing what that dog means to him. Yeah, I'm hoping somebody else can shoulder that burden, frankly. I've done it many times with his pets. It's not fun. I did it on my birthday. It was my birthday. That's how I spent my birthday. It was, listening to him grieve over a 17-year-old cat. I was like, thinking to myself, the cat is 17. It got to eat every day. You took it to the vet whenever it needed to go to the vet. It's like, cat's out. It's a 17-year-old cat. It's nature, But I gotta listen. I gotta help him through the grieving process on my birthday. That's my birthday present. I remember that thinking, this is happy birthday to me. It's like sometimes when people cry, something that my sister don't know about is you just have to listen to them cry and let them work it out and say a few words that are neutral, and that are complimentary and kind. And what I always say is like, you gave that animal the best pet owner I know of. You gave that animal the best life it could possibly have. You did all you could. Sometimes you drift into the platitude territory. Sometimes you're just telling the truth. Uh, it's just another damn thing I got to think about, And it's just a lot of stuff. Why is my mouth so dry? Somebody, somebody smoking a lot of weed in this building, and it's coming into the vents or something. Jesus. But no, I'm gonna keep trying until I get sick. But then I start having thoughts like, what if I get sick, go to the doctor, get diagnosed with coronavirus, and then they ship me to a hospital? I mean, do I like smuggle a bunch of pills in my pocket? Because I don't want to go out that way. I got like a serious premonition that if I go to the hospital, I'm not coming out. I'm 52 years old with a lot of different conditions going on, and some of that could be benzo thinking or, or benzo enhanced, like solid logical thinking, but benzo enhanced because of the anxiety that you get when you're dealing with the benzo thing. I don't know. I don't know. Some grim. Oh, the sun's breaking now. I did manage to figure out the lighting thing so it's not so damn obnoxious. It's still not flattering to me, but you know, my looks done left me a long time ago, so it's all good as far as that's concerned. That was just obnoxious. Me fighting with the light was also an obnoxious part of that video. Uh, just try to keep things in perspective and um, take it one day at a time and realize that it's just I don't I, they say you make your own luck and stuff, but I don't know. It seems to me like I fight awful hard and things just don't turn out for me. I try, and I'm kind of like on my own because this my support system is pretty bridge over the river Kwai rickety. So not a good reference, but yeah, I didn't want to leave a pause in there while I thought up something better. But yeah, my support system isn't too supportive, so it's kind of like me out on an island. Uh, and um, I don't know. I kind of feel like at least I lived my life. You know, it's like I found out what I was good at. I did what I was meant to do, which was write that novel. Uh, and I was a writer for 4 years, and that's what I was put on the earth to do: is use my facility for words and my humor. And I did that. You know, I put in the effort. I was kind to people. I'm writing a eulogy for myself right now. He was kind to people. He always had a minute for you. He would even listen to you grieve about your animal on his birthday and not say, "Dude, aren't you going to sing me happy birthday? What'd you get me for my birthday? Oh, you got me, you got me the present of grief, you know." Uh, yeah, but I always was trying to be kind to people and always was looking out for other people and worrying about other people to mostly to my own detriment. And uh, at least figured out who I was and what I was put on this earth to do, even if I don't get to do it because of physical disability. So that gives me a little bit of peace and comfort. And I had the all important X experience, which is what Eric Fromm called um, that uh, consciousness expanding experience that the Christians called being born again, that the Buddhists would call enlightenment, uh, that the Taoists would call being one with the Tao. They have different names for it, but I had that experience, which allowed me to have equanimity and peace of mind where other people would not. And, you know, so I have that, and that gives me it's an honest assessment of myself. I'm also, vain. I have many flaws, of course. You know this. I am vain, uh, wordy, um, occasionally arrogant, and lack of modesty, apparently. Um, mm, I have plenty of flaws, but if they're put on a scale, I think I was a better person than I was a worse person. And if I could go into some Egyptian mythology, they had a scale, and the soul was represented by a feather. But yeah, that's reaching like way back in time, like 35 years. And I don't think I can do that, but they'd weigh your soul against a feather, and the word MAAT comes in there. But I don't research this stuff, so I used to be able to remember stuff like that. But hello, Benzo's took its toll, and a lot of times it's really hard to think when you're in a lot of pain too. It's hard to concentrate. Uh, but yeah, I'm sure I have plenty of regrets, and like anybody, and I have flaws, most of which I'm aware of. You know, um, but anyways, I do hang in there and I do try, and it's really hard. It's going to be really hard even to make calls that I have to make today. And try to get a hold of people, and you know, just trying in the face of my reality, which is the guy that was out there and stuck in a downward dog position in gravel and having to make a plan on just how to stand up without falling over and hurting himself. Yeah, balance the reality of physical ruination and limitations. And it's not. It's that's one thing. It's like the amount of pain that CRPS generates at times. It's tough to deal with, and I don't, because of my heart, I don't like to fuck with the Neurontin, gabapentin, whatever you want to call it. I got got enough of that in here to kill a small elephant. Uh, it's I have a much better pill called doxepin that could kill 3 or 4 elephants. I got enough of that in here, but I just don't like to take that stuff because I don't want nothing messing with my heart. I want to take as little medications as possible. So I take my blood thinner. I've been taking more blood pressure pills than I want to, metoprolol, and I take my Valium. That's it. I got like shelves and full of pills and stuff. So, anyways, I don't know how to make an ending to this. I just wanted to tell you, my morning and just do my daily ritual. My nerves are a little better than yesterday, even though I had my little fall. And I hope my fingers will probably hurt for like a day. And shouldn't inconvenience me too much. Should be all right. See, I'm gonna guess that was 33 minutes and 46 seconds. 36 minutes and 57 seconds. Close enough. But anyways, at least you didn't have light blaring in your face. You just have a grainy, you have grainy, poor resolution until I can figure out the lighting in here. It's got to be better than being blasted with light. To have like a grainy. I kind of look like a mosaic now that I'm looking at myself. I look like a mosaic. I got like a red spot or something here. What the hell? I need to take a shave. I took clippers to my beard yesterday. I didn't get to the shaving part. Because yesterday I started out good. Even though I had that shit fit on camera. But then I felt sick by the time the aid worker got here. I didn't feel good. And I was like, oh, I just want to be asleep. I just want to be unconscious. And now I'll keep trying. Even in the face of all this. Yeah. Oh, I was going to call my cousin and ask him why I kicked my dad in the balls. I have been calling him, but he hasn't been picking up the phone. But he called me like right before I was ready to go to sleep last night. And I just said, shit, I can't just like, can I ask you a question? Tell me the story. Tell me the story about you kicking my dad in the balls, please. So, I'll try to get a hold of him today. I don't know what his schedule is, but I've called him like 3 times since I said I would do that. That's another thing that's good for me for making these videos is I will say things and then because I say them, I feel like I have to do them, like I had to concoct that thing to block out. But the sun isn't up yet, but you can see that it's kind of light out around the corners. I don't know how it'll work, but the boxes I had weren't wide enough. But yeah, I haven't really been in storyteller mood or mode. I just keep getting cotton mouth, man. I don't know what that's about. I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like this whole situation. Obviously, this is what I was thinking like 2 months ago. It's like I'll be out of here. I be in a whole new area with people that I don't know who don't know me. I got a fresh start. I'll have a bunch of greenery around me. I can sit outside in the sun. and I can control new relationships and keep them all surface, and like if they so slowly develop into something more profound, you know, that's fine. People are good, you know, and I'll be healthier, and I won't have the stress, and I won't have to deal with a landlord that I want to bludgeon with a sock full of nickels. Uh, and then, like, none of this stuff happens. It all falls through. And then uh, I don't, I want to talk to this guy and find the guy that's supposed to help me, just find out if he's going to help me or not. If he tells me he's not going to help me, then maybe I will just, take it upon myself and get a number off of him and take that, just put myself at risk. Or maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should hermit up, you know. Thumbs up or thumbs down, take a poll. Maybe I should hermit up and wait out the supposed peak, which I don't even buy anyway, because I don't think this thing's all that predictable. Um, so, yeah, but man, everything fell through, that I was working towards, and I was explaining to my niece, who makes about what I do in a month, in about a week. Uh, what am I saying? She gets like a $50 per diem. I don't even know how to pronounce the word. Per diem, just to eat when she travels, you know. So, you know, uh, we're talking about a high-paying gig. So I don't know what she makes, but I was trying to explain to her. It's like, you know how hard it is to save up $4,000 when you get $12.48 a month, and you're paying for all your own stuff, and the deprivation you have to go through to save up that money. So, it took me from September all the way through into February of planning and careful calculation and spending as little money on anything as possible. Like a splurge for me would be like to buy a $3.99 movie on YouTube that I wanted to see because I'm having trouble finding it for free online and driving myself crazy. So I was like, oh, I'll spend $4 on this movie. Uh, and to live like that for all that time, then to have it all fall through, not only fall through, but to have your life threatened at the same time, and the whole world, sort of at the mercy of this mysterious new illness the Chinese dreamed up for us. And what about that? What kind of backlash? Because I understand that this come from Wuhan, China, and they're blaming the wet markets, where these things like swine flu, bird flu, and this new COVID-19 stuff all get cooked up in these nasty areas. And I've heard jokes about bat sandwiches and stuff, but I haven't really done all the research. I'm just trying to keep up with what's going on in my area. And I haven't even been that thorough researching my area as far as like survivability for healthy people. Because, yeah, just like I'm just keeping track of the numbers, and I'm keeping track of when I go outside. It's like how many people are actually paying attention to this. And I'm like, well, those kids don't live here, so why during a quarantine are there like 18 kids running through my hallway? Uh, that's irresponsible, you know. That is not cool. And yeah, so I haven't really delved into the numbers and done the research. I don't want to be like a Corona head and fixate on it too much, even though I'm one of the people that is in the very high risk category for being offed by this villainous virus. A little alliteration thrown in there. This villainous, vitriolic, Venomous virus. Oof. Anyways, this is at least better than yesterday, right? For the 18 people that watched me yesterday, um, I just, my mind just tends to be unfocused at times. Kind of looking at things. I kind of look at things from too many angles. I've never taken acid. Never taken acid in my life or any kind of psychedelics. No mushrooms. No DMT or psilocybin or whatever they get at peyote or none of that stuff. You know, that mind expanding stuff because I don't need it. You know, I don't need that kind of crap. I think of things from too many angles as it is, and plus I had that. I should have taken off my glasses for this video. What am I doing? Hopeless. I had that experience when I was 20 that I was talking about earlier. That Eric Fromm, the great psychologist, philosopher guy, labeled the X experience, X representing the unknown or the brush with the unknown, under the idea that God is unknowable. You know, that our minds are limited and it's an experience rather than knowledge is something obviously that you can grab and contain and hold into word and mold into words and hold in your hand, and it's a fact. You know, it's something that we can observe and uh, you know, test it. And whereas this experience that people have, that's a universal human experience, this X experience that gets expressed in different ways through different philosophic and religious traditions, is something that's accessible to everyone. And the reason why that is I'm going to say something here that I probably shouldn't. Is it's like in you already, and you got to find it. And you don't look outward, you look inward. And I already had that experience and already found that. And there's just, it would, you know, the whole consciousness expanding thing to see things in a new kind of way. I already had that naturally. Don't need it. So the way my mind works is not a product of drug use. I've never been a big drug guy. So I've actually avoided and looked down upon drug use, and I found drug use to be detrimental in my relationships. Even so-called innocuous drugs like marijuana uh, have been problematic for my relationships because even when I was smoking, I wasn't a heavy smoker. So yeah, so I guess that's why I have trouble with endings, because me, nothing ever ends. Infinity, man, that's why infinity shaped like that. It just goes round and round and round. The ending to this one is I'm in an okay mood, and I hope you are too. And I didn't throw anything in this video, and didn't think about violence as a form of like getting rid of my justifiable um, frustrations. And hopefully I'll be able to do something else besides what I've done already today, which was get a good solid meal in me, take a nice walk, hurt my fingers, and fix that abomination. It's like a thing you put over your car windshield to keep the heat, keep your interior cool. Um, but hopefully I won't like the bottom won't fall out, even though I got a blood pressure pill in me, and I just felt like I should take it because right now I'm fearing hospitals. I'm fearing hospitals worse than Jason Voorhees, man. I don't want nothing to do with having to go to no hospital for my heart. And if I get that arrhythmia stuff and it stays, hospital. There's, I bet you they'll shock me and send me home though. because there won't be no room for me, so they won't keep me this time, though. There won't be no argument about that. Where I was like, they're not. They're gonna send you upstairs, and I'm trying to make arguments like just shock me and send me home. I don't want to stay in the hospital. You know, they're like not happening. And 3.5 days later, with me in the hospital, going through all kind of bullshit, and getting that uh, alien face hugger probe down the throat, and then coming out of the bathroom with a 220 pulse, yelling at nurses and scaring them to the point where one of them never said another word for me. She thought I was funny as hell and liked me until she seen that me, and she was like, "Fuck that dude, he's crazy." You know, 'cause I come out of there like I told that. I have to tell at least one story, even if it's a damn repeat. I come out of there and uh, they were like, "I don't care," and that pissed me off because I was like, it's kind of hard to take a shit when you people are yelling at me, and they were like, the one person was like, "I don't care, your pulse is 220," and I come out of there, I pull my pants, and I come out there, and I started yelling. I was like, "You don't care. You should care. You should be the ones to care because you're the ones that are going to lose your job if I fucking die. At least I'll be out of this mess." And they were like, you know, that was the highest pulse I think I've ever had, was 220. I was in an AFib with a 220 pulse, just yelling at people, and freaked that one nurse out. She never come back in my room again. Period. I remember making her laugh and stuff. She thought I was funny. She didn't think I was funny after that. She didn't want to risk being around me. But yeah, I told him, man, you're the ones that should be. I don't like it when people say I don't care when I tell them something. I was like, you don't care. You should be the ones to care. Because I'll be dead and I'll be out of this mess, and you'll be looking for a job. You know. But anyways, this is just what I do. You know my MO. I hang on too long. Uh, but anyways, again, same sentiment is like, I hope you have a good day. Take it one day at a time. Get through it. And yeah, it'll take a while. They'll figure this shit out. They'll come up with a vaccine or some kind of treatment for it. I think they were doing experimental treatments with different um, medications. I think one of them was for malaria. I mean, scientists all over the world are working on this 24/7. So you just got to hang in there until they get it figured out and use some common sense. And if you're healthy, don't let the anxiety get the best of you. If you're high risk like me, uh, yeah, just try to manage it. You know, try to keep yourself active and don't think about it too much. Limit your exposure. Do what you can do. But man, I'm just terrible at endings. I'm the annoying guy that hangs at your door with his coat on, and you want to just say, "Just go already," And he puts his coat on at the door, and he's still talking to you. Oh man, just go. All right, okay, I'm gonna go. I got my coat on, and my hat, my gloves, and out the door I goes.